Ovechkin, how he was injured and missed all that time, and the fact that he's still on pace to pass Gretzky.
I think everybody's rooting for Ovechkin at this point in time. And I think he'll do it as well. So it's a feat that no one ever thought Scotty would be broken. It's going to be broken, and it's probably going to be broken because, he's not going to stop shooting.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We all know MVPs don't win the Super Bowl. It's not about MVPs, man. The only MVP, fine. Win the MVP of the Super Bowl. Nobody cares about the MVP of the regular season besides people that bet on it, the actual player themselves, and their agent that's getting a cut of the bonus money. Other than that, who cares? What do you care who wins the MVP? Like I said, unless you bet on it. Right? If you bet on it, fine. Then I guess you care.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
They have a lot of hopes, and they thought last year they were turning the corner. Even early this year, they start turning the corner, and then you lose 13 games in a row.
Edmonton chipped away, got a late goal, won the game 4-3. I felt like they dominated the third period. They moved the puck on that power play. It was an exceptional hockey game. It went over the total.
Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Welcome in. It's in-game live game day on a marvelous Monday evening. Scott Wetzel alongside Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, watching, covering, betting the world of sports. Yes, we got Ime Udoka going back to Beantown tonight. We got Connor McDavid returning to the ice tonight. We returned to the winner's circle with the NFL yesterday, and hopefully later on tonight with all the plays that we have. We got the coach, James Young, joining us in a little bit. We got Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and then, of course, our good buddy Cam Stewart to close out the hour here. So, Dave, rocking the Charlotte Hornets tonight. Interesting. Why?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, plus the points at home against the Lakers. Anytime I can go on game time decisions with Kevin and have something maybe against the Lakers, I said, you know what, I'm going to break this out tonight. Plus, the only thing that matches Super Bowl had from last year, because I figured we would talk about the Super Bowl, maybe Super Bowl numbers, what happened yesterday, sum it all up. I don't know. It's a magnificent Monday. You're right. And you don't get many times to break out the old Charlotte jacket. You know what I mean?
That's true.
There's not too many times where you go, you know what? This thing looks great. The teal looks awesome, but they are not a good basketball team. Let's go over 222.5. That's what that number closed. And the Hornets were down. I believe it was 22-6. Anthony Davis had 21 points and 11 boards or something in the first quarter. Lakers 5-1 straight up in their last 6, 11-4 to the under in the last 15 games. See, I probably should have checked the trends before I made the play, but over 222.5 is what we got, and that's what I'll be rooting for. Listen, it's NBA season time for a lot of people. Some people are just going, you know what? Football's over. There's only one more game. I'm going to bet NBA, or they're going to bet hockey, or they're going to bet college basketball. It's a good thing they're here to watch in-game live game day because we've been talking about this stuff since September. This is great.
Yeah. I tell you, if Anthony Davis played like this all the time, the Lakers would actually be a really good team. Unfortunately, he doesn't. The Laker fan is saying, why not this every single 23 points, 11 rebounds, and they're in the final seconds of the first half. In a close game, relatively speaking, 59-51. So, I mean, he's on pace, for 35, 40 point, 15, 20 rebound night. And then next game, he'll have like 7 points and 3 rebounds and say his leg hurts.
Listen, as good as you are you can't be your best every night. I mean, you do pretty much that here, but I mean, all those things we talked about, all your athletic prowess and things like that, you're allowed to have off nights. You can't be at your best every single night. It's close. Don't get me wrong. I mean, can you imagine if you were skiing over the weekend and what you were doing on the slopes? I'm sure you would bring your best. So you got to give the guy a pass. He can't play like this every night. Just enjoy it while he's doing it.
He averages 26 points a game, and I don't know the answer to this. We'll find out. How many times do you think he's scored 10 points or less? Knowing he averages 26, he's played 40.
40
I got. Don't worry about it. Don't check. 45 games or so.
Okay.
How many do you think? I'm guessing. I'm going to guess 10. I bet it's a 1/4 of his games.
Well,
which is
if
just
he's
criminal.
averaging, well,
26.
no, I would say it's less than 10. My first number that came to my head was 8.
All right, which is still a lot. Let's see.
Single digits. It's going to be single digits.
2.
Are you going to count this out
3.
right now? How many are you doing
12.
right now?
I'm counting 12. That's 4.
Okay.
I'm counting 14. That's 5.
You said less than 10.
Right.
Why are you changing the rules?
I'm counting the preseason. That's 6.
Preseason?
6 times. Well, some people pay their money for preseason games, don't they?
Doesn't count.
6 times the guy has scored 14 points, 12 points, whatever it is, or less. I mean, he's so up and down. He's such an enigma. He can be so good. The Lakers could win a championship if he played like this, right? I mean, real seriously.
Yeah.
I wonder how him and LeBron get along, because LeBron's got to see it. Not that LeBron plays every single game, but at least LeBron kind of tries. So he's just but you're getting his A game. Bottom line is you're getting his A game tonight.
Okay.
You're only leading by 8. You're laying 9.5. So they're at the half 59-51. Maybe the over 218.
There's 2 games coming up. Denver's
Right.
at Chicago. All right. That's the early slate right there. We'll be in and out of those games all night. But Denver's at Chicago, laying a gigantic number now at this point. 9.5.
Yeah.
You see this total? This is the highest total of the year pregame that you and I have seen on In-Game Live that I can remember. I don't remember a total higher than 248.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember any 250s yet.
Yeah, I don't
think so.
remember anything. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, because you and I are both doing so many other things. It may have happened, but that's why we have guys at the back, researchers. I don't think there's been a higher total. 0-5 straight up for the Bulls there. 0-4-1 ATS home game run. This is Denver and over. Look at this, 29-16 to the over this season. You want the Bulls or do you want the under? Make a hard case to do that.
Yeah. Series is 17-6 over, but not at 248.5. I'll tell you that. Maybe many of those games went to 250, but I don't think they started out at 250. That's a tough one. And I'll tell you this: Bulls 10-3 under their last 13 at home, and it's not necessarily because there's lower scoring games. It's just because these numbers with the Bulls are so ridiculously high. You're hitting 235 and the game's going under. It's crazy. So that's a tough bet. 9. Who wants to lay 9.5? On the road, and then you can't go over. It's too high, and you'd be a dope if you bet under when it's 75-75 at halftime. So the game I like is Atlanta versus Minnesota, believe it or not.
You like this
Now, yeah, the Hawks have been awful, and I bet them a couple of times. They've lost back-to-back home games, which is bad enough, to the Toronto Raptors, which is just unbelievable. I mean, that is just like losing to Topeka High twice, right?
Worse.
The teacup, probably even worse. You're right. But the teacups stink against the spread. They're one of the worst NBA teams against the spread at home. 4-17, and Atlanta 9-1 against the spread against Minnesota. Their last 10 meetings, and I've seen a lot of teams struggle at home. And the best thing for that, to kind of get them back on track is get on the road. It just unites them, keeps them focused. I don't know what. I got a funny feeling, getting a monster number 10.5. I got a funny feeling Atlanta, if not wins, keeps this real close and covers the spread. Yeah.
Wow. That's a bold statement. You think they're going to win the game outright or have a shot at winning. That's good. Listen, it's happened before, right? There's the dogs in the NBA, 10-point dogs have won games this season. So I like the way you're thinking. That's dog or nothing. I don't think you can be running up to the window or opening up an app somewhere and going, oh, yeah, I want to lay 10.5 with Minnesota at home against Atlanta tonight. 217. That's a little
Pretty
bit
low, right?
low. No? Why is that a little light?
Yeah. It's because Atlanta's been just playing awful. They've hit they've scored less than 100 points. I think it's in back-to-back games. Well, 94 last game, only 119 the time before that, 104 before that, 110 against the Knicks, and the Knicks give up points like it's nobody's business. So they really haven't been scoring a whole lot. But I will say that ended under 220 in an NBA game with the Hawks. A little Atlanta and over. That game was so bad against Toronto. They lost by 23 at home. This is a classic bounce back spot. Hawks in the over. Look at Atlanta.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid, just getting underway. Scott and Dave, hour number one. We got the coach, James Jones, joining us in a couple of moments. Big night in Beantown as we talk a little NBA before the coach joins us. Ime Udoka returns for the Houston Rockets. Now, he did return last year, but they only played one time. So this is his second return to Beantown. Remember, he used to be the Celtics head coach. Caught, doing a little hanky-panky, I think, with one of the secretaries behind the scene. Did we ever really kind of get that resolved, what he was accused of, what he did, whatever the fact that he got fired? Yeah, right. It's kind of one of those secret things. So he returns to Boston. I do like, Dave, teams that he is with now in these spots. Although I will say they did lose 145-113 last year in Boston. So I'm thinking that maybe the Rockets play a little bit better tonight. So far, so good. Houston, is early second quarter, is leading by a count of, survey says, 38-37. They were leading by about 8 a moment ago, but midway through the second quarter. So little system on the Houston Rockets tonight.
Kind of like it. We talked about that today on Bostonian versus the Book, and got to talk about the Celtics every time they play. And I was like, all right, you've told me before they're not interested against bad teams. They should be interested tonight. But look, the Rockets got the second best record in the West. They've been playing
Just
great.
beat Cleveland.
Yeah, so just coming off the Cleveland win. So, yeah, we'll ask JY when he's ready to go what he thinks about that stuff and, some other things NBA related as well as college basketball related.
That'd be a hell of a statement. I think, for Houston to beat the two best teams. Yeah, after just beating Cleveland in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a heck of a
you like
statement.
Cleveland tonight? Cleveland on a 3-game losing streak for the first time all season and laying a gigantic number against the Pistons.
I know. I wasn't sure about that. Let's ask the coach, Coach James Young, Georgia, now get his thoughts. I thought that was a little bit of a big line. Big line. A little too big for me, Coach. Cleveland 55-45 at the half. They do lead by 10 as we welcome in the coach, James Young. What you thought about think about this game?
I thought the line was heavy. I thought it was a big line tonight. You got to be impressed with what's going on in Detroit. And the job that JB Bickerstaff has done with this team. When you talk about the other game, Houston, Boston, I love Houston in this spot. I actually thought maybe the under was in play. Guys, Ime Udoka, and you mentioned this little hanky-panky. And by the way, who cheats on Nia Long? I mean, that's a fine system.
Yeah, right?
Fine system. Come on, bro. But at the end of the day, he could really coach. And if you take away the first half of last year, Houston's been as good as anybody in the West. Remember, they made that huge push, missed the playoffs by a game. And remember, Şengün got hurt down the stretch, which probably cost him a spot. And I actually thought Houston, one of my best bets, coming into the season on the Betting Above the Rim podcast, was I thought the team total win over for Houston was at 41.5. And I'm like, I can see them win. I can see them going 500. Guys, they got 30 wins, and we're not even to February yet. We need to talk about Ime Udoka as being coach of the year. I know Kenny Atkinson's the leader in the clubhouse, but there's two people I'd rather give it to. Ime Udoka for the job he's done, but the other one is Jamal Mosley. I think they were getting 1.5 versus Miami. Could someone explain to me how Miami's favored in this game? I mean, they got Jimmy Butler acting like a damn buffoon. They can't get rid of him. He's causing drama. And Orlando is starting to get everybody back. I love the Magic on the money line tonight.
Yeah. Well, there's your card. And that's good to see because somehow you got the Raptors involved. You got the Magic money line. That's good. Of course, you have the Knicks. You got the Lakers. Did you see?
Wait. Time out. I'm not Gabe Morency here. I'm not Gabe Morency. Okay. I think Buffalo Bills against the Tom Brady undefeated Patriots. Let's relax here.
All right. Do you like the Charlotte Hornets stuff? I mean, I know back in the day, did you have any teal Charlotte Hornets? Starter jackets, anything? I mean, everybody did. I'm sure you had something. What did you have?
Yes.
Yeah, what'd you
I had two. I had the Charlotte Hornets starter jacket.
Yes, baby.
And I had the starter jacket of Syracuse with the orange on the back. Yes. No. I'm going to say this. If people don't know this, and people, I hope I don't get in trouble, there's a company called Homage that I've talked to a while ago. They have all the best retro gear out right now. Starter jackets. I may get in trouble. I'm rocking a.
Oh.
I'm ready for this. I'm rocking an NBA Jam T-shirt with Brunson. Yeah, bro. Yeah, with Brunson and Josh Hart on it. Yes. So that is my. Those are my guys over there at Homage, man. Go check it out. They got a lot of stuff. But Sharapan, you look
It's
beautiful
pretty good
in that sort of jacket tonight.
It's pretty good. You got the Bucks on your card tonight. You're not worried about that big number? That's a big number, Jay.
No, I'm not worried about the number. I'm not worried about the number at all because I actually think the Bucks. Listen, people got to remember one thing. You take the Bucks in the regular season because Doc wins in the regular season. It's the playoffs that you get concerned about with Doc. And I know they did not cover the spread in their last game in that 127-117 loss at the Clippers. But guys, before that, they covered the last 5 games in a row. They're playing well. And you look at a team like Utah, who they're talking about, like, forget the trade they made with Phoenix. It's, does Colin Sexton get moved? Does Walker Kessler get moved? Who gets moved from this team? Because it's turmoil. Danny Ainge cares about draft picks more than he cares about winning games right now.
Give me a quick thought on Toronto. Back-to-back wins at Atlanta, leading by 5 over New Orleans. You like them tonight, right?
I like them plus the points. And because it's Scotty Wetzel and Dave Sharapan, I'm giving you 2 segments tonight.
Ooh, how about that? Get some college talk. Dookie Pukey's in action tonight. We'll get his thoughts on that game when we come back.
This guy Ovechkin, how he was injured and missed all that time, and the fact that he's still on pace to pass Gretzky.
I think everybody's rooting for Ovechkin at this point in time, and I think he'll do it as well. So it's a feat that no one ever thought Scotty would be broken. It's going to be broken, and it's probably going to be broken because he's not going to stop shooting.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We all know MVPs don't win the Super Bowl. It's not about MVPs, man. The only MVP, fine. Win the MVP in the Super Bowl. Nobody cares about the MVP in the regular season besides people that bet on it, the actual player themselves, and their agent that's getting a cut of the bonus money. Other than that, who cares? What do you care who wins the MVP? Like I said, unless you bet on it. Right? If you bet on it, fine. Then I guess you care.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
You know, they have a lot of hopes, and they thought last year they were turning the corner. Even early this year, they start turning the corner, and then you lose 13 games in a row.
Edmonton chipped away. Got a late goal, won the game 4-3. I felt like they dominated the third period. They moved the puck on that power play. It was an exceptional hockey game. It went over the total.
Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave talking with the coach. Coach James Young. Got some NBA thoughts from him. Have a little college basketball talk now, Coach. We got the Dookie Pukies in action laying a monster. We got a great game after that with Iowa State, but Duke laying 21-22 at home against NC State. I'm thinking about actually, I like the under in Dookie games. I'm thinking about maybe taking NC State in the over, thinking if they score 56, I'm guaranteed at least a split. But what are your thoughts about that game?
I like Duke minus the points. DJ Burns is no longer playing for NC State. And Kevin Keats, who did a great job getting that team to that Final Four run, the clock struck midnight in the Final Four, and they're back to being a pumpkin. So I actually like the Dookie Pukies minus the points. It's one of those things where with a big spread, maybe you wait a little bit and then jump in. My thought process is the Duke team had been playing really well, and they just came off a really, really good game at Coach Forbes in Wake Forest where they won by 7. I like Duke minus the points. Maybe you wait, let the game be slow. Duke jumps up at some point. NC State has lost 4 games in a row. And that brings me to something I brought up just now. I recorded the Betting Above the Rim podcast earlier today. And I know Rebecca Harrelson will probably never talk to me again. Guys, I'm fading North Carolina. I don't think they make the tournament. I think they're a hot mess. And I like SMU to make the NCAA tournament in their first year in the ACC. I know they've lost to Carolina. I know they've lost to Duke. But they got Cal, Stanford at home. At Virginia Tech, they're not good. Pittsburgh, Virginia, Wake Forest, they're good. Both at home. Notre Dame, not great on the road. Clemson at home, at Cal, at Stanford, home Syracuse, at Florida State. It's plus 10. I think when Maddie and I did the podcast before, I think it was like plus 108 was them to make the tournament. Don't sleep on SMU to make the NCAA tournament, guys. I think they can get in.
All right, let's focus here for a second, please. We got games tonight that we need to know about, what you're thinking. Get in your head here a little bit. Big Ten basketball going on. Penn State's beating Michigan right now. I don't know what to make of it. They've lost 5 of 6. They could go in there and win as a big dog. Iowa and Ohio State's playing. That's a big game, okay, but not really. The big game of the night, JY, is Iowa State at Arizona. I need to know because Iowa State, legit title contender, arguably one of the best teams in the Big 12, let alone in the country. They're dogs tonight. You falling for taking plus the points, or you think Wildcats win this thing?
Well, first things first, I actually like Michigan minus the points tonight, but you got to talk about the job that Mike Rhodes has done at Penn State. That team I talked about last week on the podcast, they're going to make the NCAA tournament. They're 3-6. I think Penn State makes the NCAA tournament. And it looks like they're making it. I think so. This is not James Franklin. This guy can actually coach in big spots. No offense. I told you about the Dookie Pukies. But guys, I'm telling you this right now. I'm going against. Well, usually they're the home favorites. Guys, I like Iowa State tonight. I noticed is going into McHale Center is a tough place to play. Arizona is coming off 2 big wins. But I like TJ's team. After losing at West Virginia, they went and beat UCF by 25, and they beat Arizona State at Arizona State by 15. I like Iowa State plus the 2.5 tonight. I think TJ finds a way to steal it on the road.
Is the number high, JY? The total? Look at the total. Their totals are never in the 150s. I can't believe it's that high.
But the issue is that people don't understand that Iowa State can score this year. I mean, Iowa State's scoring, guys, 85 points per game, right? Yeah. They're scoring 85. Wow. And Arizona gives up 69, and they score 83. So this Iowa State team is completely different than it's interesting. Them and Houston have always been regarded as the best defensive teams in the country, in my opinion, right? But both teams have shown a propensity to score. You're going to look at the fact that Iowa State they got 6 guys averaging 9.2 or more. They're the sum of their parts, led by obviously Jones and Gilbert. I think this game can go up and over the total. I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Any thoughts on UCLA USC? Pretty good game.
Pretty good game. Listen, Mick Cronin's got them playing better after him complaining and stuff, but it's a rivalry game. You should think that it should be UCLA, but you never know what's going on with the Must Bus. I just think USC pulls the upset tonight.
I'm excited.
Michigan by 2. 2 seconds left. Ooh, they hit a 3.
Blue Dax.
Wow. Still got a shot, though. Coach, good job as always, my friend.
I got
we'll do it again
shot.
Next week.
this guy Ovechkin, how he was injured and missed all that time, and the fact that he's still on pace to pass Gretzky.
I think everybody's rooting for Ovechkin at this point in time. And I think he'll do it as well. So it's a feat that no one ever thought Scotty would be broken. It's going to be broken, and it's probably going to be broken because Scotty, he's not going to stop shooting.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We all know MVPs don't win the Super Bowl. It's not about MVPs, man. The only MVP, fine. Win the MVP of the Super Bowl. Nobody cares about the MVP of the regular season besides people that bet on it, the actual player themselves, and their agent that's getting a cut of the bonus money. Other than that, who cares? What do you care who wins the MVP? Like I said, unless you bet on it. Right? If you bet on it, fine. Then I guess you care.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
They have a lot of hopes, and they thought last year they were turning the corner. Even early this year, they start turning the corner, and then you lose 13 games in a row.
Edmonton chipped away, got a late goal, won the game 4-3. I felt like they dominated the third period. They moved the puck on that power play. It was an exceptional hockey game. It went over the total.
Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is in-game live game day here on the grid. Thanks to the coach, James Young, giving us some NBA, some college basketball winners. Time now for, speaking of winners, a little SGP, same-game parlay time. All right, I'm going to buck some serious, well, I'm not really bucking trends. I'm just going to bunch logical thinking with this SGP tonight. Every once in a while, since we're here 5 days a week now, I got to have some fun with some of these, right? Tonight's one of those days. Let's head out west. We got a little NBA action, Dave. The Milwaukee Bucks taking on the god-awful biggest waste of human flesh in NBA uniforms west of the Mississippi, Utah Jazz, right? Who in their right mind is putting hard-earned American money on Utah? You know what? Tonight, we are. We'll pitch a fork on the Jazz. Yes. You know why? I know, Milwaukee's been good. Utah's been bad for a couple of years, though. But the Jazz are 20-2 straight up at home against Milwaukee. 20-2. So that tells me Milwaukee doesn't like these trips out to Utah, which has been generally, as I mentioned, pretty good. But Milwaukee's been good for a while. So Utah's got their number out in Milwaukee. So give me the Utes plus the Jazz plus the 9. I'm going to go over 236.5 Milwaukee, Utah, just because you just can't bet an under in an NBA game. You just can't. You got some nice numbers to the over for Milwaukee. You got 7-1 over their last 8 games. You got Utah 5-1 over their last 6. So, all right, let's throw the over in there. Then I got to go with the Greek Freak, who's really not Greek, a double-double, -5-1, which is just moronic, right? Who in their right mind would ever bet that? But, okay, I'll bite FanDuel. And then give me the Greek Freak, who's really not Greek, 25 points or more at -410. And they actually bumped that up with the double-double. Like, you can't, eliminate one and have the same odds. They actually give you a little bonus there. So, and then we'll go with Lauri Markkanen, 20 points or more, -145. Add it all up, not a great payout, plus 455, but not too bad. I'll take it. 455. What do you think?
I think you just wanted to involve Giannis just to have somebody to blame if he doesn't hit. You can say the Greek Freak that's not really Greek again. It never gets old. It hits good every time you say it, and it's been happening. Yeah. Well, JY came on, so you're opposite Coach Young. That's not always, the worst thing in the world. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's fine. I think over's good. So this looks okay. This let's start off the week right. Let's at least be in this to the fourth quarter. There's probably going to be at a point that we're going to need Utah to come back, right? They'll be down. Probably we'll be able to get it in game plus 15. So that's good. Have you seen the producer's pick tonight? Now that we have your same game parlay in there, no,
I'm not.
Okay,
actually.
There's a producer's pick working. Look at this.
It's amazing how we're always in line. I swear we don't talk about this stuff.
Unbelievable the synergy of this show between Matty G and then Vincenzo and Horn, different things like that. There's Giannis Antetokounmpo over 31.5. What do you think? I think this wins.
I like it. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in the game. So that's why I put through the marketing in there. That's why I put Giannis in there, because I figure he's going to get 25. So he's going to get 32. It's a lot of points to ask, but it should be a high scoring game. So I'm okay with it. Not the worst thing in the world. So it is amazing how we're always on the same page. Or not always, but a lot of times. Listen, I got to ask you a dumb question here.
Here we go. Glasses. Hold on.
Yeah, put the glasses on because
I got to put this on for this. This is going to be good.
I'm missing something here. I'm just, what am I missing? I got this Tiger Woods nonsense on my TV screen, right? And the guy, I'll say Tom Kim is now shooting. I don't know whose team he's on. He's standing over a ball. He's getting ready to hit the ball off the tee, and boom, the ball disappears. Where the hell's the ball?
Right.
What happened to the ball? Am I not? Is he not really hitting a ball? I see the ball on the screen, but where did the actual ball go? I don't see the screen being hit. Is there not really a ball there? Of course, there's got to be a ball there, right? Where's the ball? It's like Columbo with the magician, where it's just like it disappears. Boom. Where the hell did the ball go?
Two possibilities right now. One, you need to up the prescription. All right, maybe you just didn't see the ball. All right, that's number one. Number two might be, have you been to a driving range where the tee comes up from the ground, where it just kind of pops up and then it goes down?
Right.
Maybe the tee came up without the ball on it. Maybe they put the ball on.
No, I'm seeing the ball. I see the ball right now. Kim is shooting right now. He's got a ball on a tee, I think. And he hits the ball, and now you see the ball on the screen, which is obviously not a real course. It's a screen.
Right.
Where did the actual ball go?
It hits the screen and drops down.
I don't see the screen being hit. If I'm hitting a screen, doesn't the screen move, for goodness sakes?
I don't even know.
That must be the greatest screen in the history of screens.
The screen does not move. It absorbs the blow. It almost, you don't see it. Have you not been to one of these places? You don't see the ball. It just literally dribbles down the wall, and just somebody goes and picks it up like a ball boy.
But don't you see the ball drop? Don't you see the ball hit the screen? I don't see the ball. As soon as you hit it, you can't see the ball from the tee to the screen either?
No, the way they shoot this, it's virtual. You don't see it. No, you don't.
But is the ball virtual? Is the ball really there? That's the question. If it's not there and they're just hitting like a blank spot over the tee, then how the hell do they know where the ball's going?
What is in your cup tonight?
I am serious. I'm sure everyone watching is saying, you know what, Wetzel, you're right. Where the hell is the ball? Where did the ball go?
Nobody's saying that.
Magic. Did it implode? Is it like
Nobody's
just a plastic ball and it just implodes? It's gone? Boom?
No.
What a dopey event this is.
Magic grits? You sounded like my cousin Vinny right there. Is it a magic ball? Are those magic grits? How long do you cook your grits? What are you talking about? Focus on the task at hand, please. What are you doing right now? is
the ball.
I'm
being asked to bet on something I don't even see the ball. Say what you want about Kansas City and Mahomes and the rest. At least I see the football. You know?
Oh.
Can I bet on Tiger Woods'
Now
team?
you've opened up a can of worms. Now you've opened up a whole can of worms. I mean, people are saying the stuff's rigged. Stop.
Nah, it's not
It's
rigged.
not. It's not. I mean, stop.
Maybe
How do we
influenced
explain
a
it to
little.
the kids? Well, it's just bad
You know what you
calls, but I
explain?
mean, good teams put themselves in positions. How do you explain it to an 18-year-old to 30-year-old right now? Because they think all the sports rigged.
Right. Listen, it's as I explained on the podcast today, it's a phenomenon. It really is. Teams don't make plays at the end of games, and Kansas City does. You know, I know they didn't play, Kansas City, but Mark Andrews, he's a Hall of Fame tight end. He drops a 2-point conversion last week. I mean, it's just like teams come out of these games and say, I don't know what happened to us. You know, the tight end for the Buffalo Bills, he probably makes that catch on that 4th down play 8 out of 10 times. It was right in his hands.
Yeah,
he had to dive a little bit, but it hit him right in the hands. Teams, when they play Kansas City, just do inexplicable, like, dopey things. Whereas the Chiefs, they always seem to make those plays when it matters the absolute most at the end of the games. Why? Who knows? It's got nothing to do with the officials. It really doesn't. Not that stuff, anyway.
They got the best coach and the best quarterback.
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that? All right, we're coming up in Game Live.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler has spread his cancer all over the Heat, and he has ruined their season. I do believe they'll never recover from this disastrous guy that is, purged on them. I mean, he's ruined. Like, they don't matter anymore at all. Like, I watched them play last night. They suck.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You know, they have a lot of hopes, and they thought last year they were turning the corner. Even early this year, they start turning the corner a little, and then you lose 13 games in a row.
Edmonton chipped away. Got a late goal, won the game 4-3. I felt like they dominated the third period. They moved the puck on that power play. It was an exceptional hockey game. It went over the total.
Only on SportsGrid.
You know, I had a great question. I think Dave's got an even better one. Did Penn State win or lose that game? They were down 3. I think Michigan had like a 5-point play. Something wacky happened because they were down 2, and then they were up 5 or up 3.
Lost.
So
76-72 final. Penn State lost. Michigan won. Penn State covered. Game stayed with the game closed. Did it go over? No, it stayed way under.
No.
Oh, I appreciate JY's optimism that Penn State's going to make the tournament. That would be fun. After the Penn State football run in the playoff, that was fun. And usually it means the end of, maybe there'll be a hockey run or something. But after that, it's on to either, dreams of softball season or something for Penn State. I don't think they're going to make the tournament. There's too many teams in the Big Ten that are a little better mediocre than them. I don't know how many teams the Big Ten is going to get in. I mean, the SEC is going to get in so many. The Big 12 is going to get in so many that I don't think there's going to be more than maybe 6, I think, of the Big Ten, because there's so many teams now. I don't know, and everybody seems like they're in the middle. So, UCLA and USC is tonight. That's a Big Ten basketball game, as weird as that is to say. So, I don't know if either one of those teams, I guess UCLA's got a good shot of making it, but I don't know if USC's going to. And I don't think Penn State's going. They got a losing record. You think there'll be teams that make it with a losing record in their conference? Like in years past, there'd be 1 or 2. I don't think there's a chance in hell a team would win.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often. It really doesn't. I know people think it happens a lot, but when you really look at, the top 2 or 3 seeds, like nearly every single conference, now you might have a little different this year in the SEC because it's so deep, but generally speaking, it's the top 1, 2, and at worst 3 seed that makes the NCAA tournament. I will tell you, Penn State led by 5 with 2 minutes left. Minute 50 left. Michigan calls a timeout, down 5. Kid hits a dunk, cut the lead to 3. Penn State turns the ball over. Michigan hits another shot, down 1 now, 56 seconds left. And that's when it really kind of unfolded. They missed a layup with 32. Michigan ball, they make it 3. All of a sudden, they're up 2. Well, that didn't take long. Went from being down 5 to up 2 in a minute and a half.
What did I do? What did I do to deserve this summary? I'll read the summary later.
I always like to put the dagger in there just to try to figure it out, because I knew they were up 5. Like I thought it was even later than that, to tell you the truth. But then they missed the 3, then the fouling. That's a tough one.
How about Edmonton tonight at home against Seattle with McDavid's return? Can we talk a little hockey before we get to the Black Cloud play in the next segment, please?
Sure.
I mean, McDavid, is there a system for this? The best player in the game coming off a suspension, he's going to score tonight, right? There's got to be a prop bet on that. He's going to score.
Yeah. I won't tell you how many or what the prop is, because I do have that as my Black Cloud play of the day. But I will say I do like Edmonton, right?
Okay.
I don't like laying a puck and a half, but you can't lay the minus 320. Even regulation, it's 2 and change. So you got, if you're going to bet it, you got to lay minus a goal and a half. And even that's minus 122. But you would think Edmonton is going to come out flying, right? 13-2 their last 15 at home, 21-7 their last 28 overall. They've beaten the Seagirls, as I like to call them, 7 straight, 10-2 their last 12 meetings against the Kraken.
They're the Kraken.
I mean, it all points to Edmonton. I mean, it really does. And you get the McDavid coming back.
I'm kind of glad you did not involve. I'm glad you didn't involve the Penguins in the Black Cloud play of the night, because they're playing. They're playing the show's nemesis, the San Jose Sharks, SJ Sharkey tonight. Big number too. Big Penguins laying on the road like a big number, 175. They're on the longest road trip of the year. They've been out west for, I think the total number of games on this road trip is 7. There's not too many times that the East Coast teams play 7 games in a row on the road.
Yeah.
It's like once every 3 or 4 years this happens. 3-17 in their last 20. Look at that. But then 3-10 in their last 13 for the Penguins.
Yeah.
I mean, got to take a shot on a plus 1.5 tonight and a game over. The game is going over. I don't normally come on and give big picks or this is definitely going to win. But I feel pretty confident that hockey game is going over tonight in San Jose.
All right, so the PP parlay tonight, right? Edmonton minus 320 now, and Pittsburgh minus 172. How's that not cashing?
The Penguins lose. That's how it's not cashing. The Penguins lose.
You want to go over 6.5 instead?
I'd much
You like
prefer
the over
that.
so much?
I think I prefer that.
Plus 150. You turn a 320 favorite into plus 150.
Okay. All right. I like that better.
And they get an hour difference. So if Edmonton can jump out, God forbid, to like a 4-0 lead after one, or midway through the second, now we can hedge a little bit on the under with Pittsburgh, San Jose, because we got an hour. Okay. Hours what? About a period and a half, right? We should be able to get a good period and a half of action.
Yeah.
Kind of get a sense of what we're getting with Edmonton, Seattle. That's not bad. Plus 150.
I got to ask you before we get to the break. What was your first impression after the games last night? Are you good with the number? Like, are you good with Kansas City being favored? The total? Anything jump off the page for you?
The total. Now it's up to 49.5 on FanDuel, but it actually opened up, I think, 47.5, maybe 48.5. But after watching Philadelphia's offense and Kansas City's offense, which all of a sudden this playoff has come alive, how's that not getting to 50 points? I'm not surprised Kansas City's the favorite, right? This is where the public kind of takes over, so they're going to make KC the favorite. But it was the total that was like, yeah. I mean, and I've been betting unders on Kansas City, and I got burned with that this past week. But yeah, the over for me. What about you?
When my guys asked me what do I think and make the number, I said pick and 51. So
yeah.
I think the Eagles can win, and I think it's going to be a very entertaining game.
Yeah, great game, I think. All right, Black Cloud coming up next.
One of the weirdest nicknames I've heard in fighting. There's people have some strange nicknames at times, but the Lemon Killer. What do you even make of that? What is that about?
I don't even know what that means, but I'm gonna squeeze him like a lemon on the day we fight, and he's gonna pop.
Only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
He did nothing for 5 weeks. So he's becoming his brother. So I don't want to hear about how great TJ Watt is with his 0 playoff wins. And he's the first guy to admit it. He comes right out and says, I've never won a playoff game. I don't matter. All right, at least we all know who the best player on the team is. It's George Pickens. If you don't believe that, well, then screw you too.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
We'll see if they get McCain back. Kelly Oubre, Yabusele's been good. Caleb Martin's a defensive specialist. Andre Drummond can still give you, almost a double-double at any point. I can't go south on this team. And now you're giving it to me at 2-1 to make the playoffs? To be in the Final 8? Folks, give me the Philadelphia 76ers to make the playoffs at plus 210.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave closing out hour number 1 with our best play of the night. Cannot lose, double your play, whatever it is. Our Black Cloud play of the night. You know, we're going to go, we went anti-public with our SGP. We're going to go 180 degrees and go public with our Black Cloud play of the day, which I'm sure the public is not going to like because, that usually puts the whammy on it. But Connor McDavid returns from a extremely rare 3-game suspension. Figure he's been sitting around, just seeing his team actually win, do well without him. But he's got to be extra pumped. Probably feels like he got screwed since he got the suspension. The other guy that was whacking him just as much as he was whacking that guy didn't. So McDavid returns to the ice tonight. The whole hockey world knows that. You want to lay Connor McDavid to get a point tonight? Yeah, good luck with that. It's over 4-1. You got to go to 2 points tonight, and we're gonna bite Connor McDavid 2 points. It's up to -130. When I put it in with the boys this afternoon to do the graphic, it was -105. Now it's at -130. Everybody is betting Connor McDavid tonight to get 2 points, which is not easy to do. It isn't, But you can have him score a goal at +130, but he's only got 20 goals. He's more like he's passing this year with his 45 assists. So let's do it. Let's bite. Every once in a while, you got to be on the side of the public. McDavid, 2 points, -130. Black Cloud play of the day.
I feel you might be moving the market. I think once now we have to trace the whereabouts of you sending out the plays for the graphics because there might be a leak in the graphic department, guys. Something like this getting out to the people because -105 to -130 is a big move. So if they're like, "Hey, Wetzel's on this," there are people watching this show every day just for the Black Cloud play of the night. You should probably stay for the rest of the show. It's pretty entertaining if I say so myself. But this is big. This is big news. So you being on the public side's okay. It's okay to be on the public side every once in a while. Yeah. I know you'll know this song. I don't know if anyone else will. I know my buddy Storm and Norman, who's watching us right now, will know it. Huey Lewis had a song called "It's Hip to Be Square."
Yep.
Sometimes it's hip to be square, Wetzel. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's done it 20 times this year, so it's not like he hasn't had 2 points. So he's done it about half the games, right? I guess he's played about 40 games. So now he's got a little juice. What would be good if you had the wherewithal is to see his first game back after the All-Star break and see how well he does. Just to give you a little insight on having a couple of days off. Does he come back flat? Does he come out excited? He probably has more days off here than he does in the All-Star game since he's actually playing in the All-Star game and flying all over the place. So, but that would be a good little, nugget to see. If he's got like 3 assists, a goal in every single game, every single year he's been in the league after the All-Star break, then you really play it big time. I didn't do the research for that. I had a roughing assignment tonight, unfortunately. So, crazy game.
How did it go? Did you stretch?
It was disaster.
Why?
One of the girls on one of the teams accused a girl on the other team of using a racial slur against her.
Oh, no. Did you have to throw someone out of the game?
It. The other guy didn't hear it. The guy was ready to walk off the court. I'm like, whoa, pal. Stupid me. I should have just said, go ahead. See you later. I got to go to in-game live. All right, you want to quit, forfeit, knock yourself out. See you. But don't be me. Oh, no, don't do that. You don't want to do that. We'll talk to the team. We'll mention it. Right. I didn't hear anything. We kind of calmed him down, but he was ready to walk. So I don't know if the girl said it. I kind of doubt it. I mean, I live in a, biracial area. The whites and blacks. It's, this is 2025. I mean, I really doubt that occurred, but who knows? Who knows? So that was just the start of all the issues. Physical game. Okay. Not very talented, and that always creates turnovers and, physical play. One team, I must say, no offense, every single girl had to be about 40 pounds overweight. So much for exercise. But they did well.
Sounds like you had a hell of a night.
Yeah. It was taking a long time. Swallowing the whistle as much as you possibly could just to kind of get the game over with,
Yeah.
But being the professional that I was, I called every call 100% right.
Thank goodness. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we got another professional coming in. Jeff Dawson's coming in next segment, so that's good. He can, help us out with some college hoops tonight, I think, and some other stuff.
Yeah, probably some NHL as well. Who knows? Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, highlight hour number 2 coming up next.
One of the weirdest nicknames I've heard in fighting. You know, there's people have some strange nicknames at times, but the Lemon Killer. What do you even make of that? What is that about?
I don't even know what that means, but I'm gonna squeeze him like a lemon on the day we fight, and he's gonna pop.
Only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
He did nothing for 5 weeks. So he is becoming his brother. So I don't want to hear about how great TJ Watt is with his 0 playoff wins. And he's the first guy to admit it. He comes right out and says, I've never won a playoff game. I don't matter. All right, at least we all know who the best player on the team is. It's George Pickens. If you don't believe that, well, then screw you too.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
We'll see if they get McCain back. Kelly Oubre, Yabusele's been good. Caleb Martin's a defensive specialist. Andre Drummond can still give you, almost a double-double at any point. I can't go south on this team. And now you're giving it to me at 2-1 to make the playoffs? To be in the Final 8? Folks, give me the Philadelphia 76ers to make the playoffs at plus 210.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
It's hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza in-game live game day here on the grid, giving out some winners. Nice slate of NBA, couple of hockey games, decent little slate of college basketball with the Dookie Pukies, by the way, trailing at home 18-9. They were a minus, I think it was 2,200 on the money line. So let's get some winners, college basketball, a little hockey as well, maybe some initial thoughts with the NFL scene with our good buddy Jeff Dawson. EastCoastSportsInvestors.com is his website. Jeff, Scott, and Dave, we're talking a little baskets here before we went to the break. I asked you, have you ever done any refereeing? Did you ever get thrown out as a head coach? Anything along those lines?
I umpired Little League Baseball. And my claim to fame was behind home plate and pass ball, and I ran down to cover third, the play at third, and the guy turned and hit me right off the head. And I never umpired after that again. But I coached T-ball all the way through to Legion ball, and my claim to fame was winning the Cape Cod, that part, but we crossed the bridge in 2 and barbecue. So that's as far as I went.
Yeah, the old 2 barbecue. Been there. That's good learning. That's a good lesson. When you get 2 games guaranteeing you're 2 and having lunch. Speaking of having lunch, we're going to have lunch, dinner, and everything tonight in college baskets. There's a hell of a basketball game tonight. Out west, Arizona's hosting Iowa State. We had JY on earlier. He talked about liking Iowa State. You saw the number move, and looking at this thing, I know you've been in the game long enough. Who do you like in this game?
Well, I'm blessed tonight because I'm sandwiched in between Coach and Cam. So I know Coach is an X and O guy, and you're right, it's not easy.
James Young, right?
Yes, and Iowa State opened -1 overnight, and all the money started coming in on Arizona. This is a huge, huge game for Arizona. Started off the season slow. A lot of people in our lanes, Dave and Scott, are saying the wrong team's favored here. I did grab Arizona money line early this afternoon. We got it at around 138, 140. Listen, I think we're going to know early. I think X's and O's, Iowa State is the right side here. I just think the home crowd, and here in Arizona, this is a big, big game for Arizona. But I might have, the banana in the tailpipe here, guys. But I do like Arizona tonight. We'll know early.
All right. How about that? I'm sorry, Dave. I thought you were next in line. It's actually my turn. Right. How about UCLA at USC? I kind of like the under in the game, but I think you like the actual game itself, right? As far as who's going to win, who's going to lose.
I don't know what it is with me and UCLA. I've been on the right side the last few games. Hey, they lose 4 in a row. Now they've won 3 in a row. Tough spot here. Basically a pick'em game. Now money coming in on UCLA here. I like Mickey Cronin and the road team here with the UCLA Bruins to get their 4th win in a row here at +1 -104. I think they win the game outright. It's going to be a nip and tuck game. Scott, I love where your eyes are on the under here too. I think if you first team to 70 might get there and cover this game here, but I like the Bruins to get their 4th game in a row.
Go to the ice. I got this great teal Charlotte stuff on tonight. I don't have any San Jose stuff, but I should, because I looked at this game and went, man, the Penguins are playing as bad as any team in hockey right now. I can't try to find a reason and hope they make the playoffs. I don't think they will, but they're on a long road trip. They're in San Jose, and you found something in this game, not side, not total. What do you got, JD?
Well, if you look at their past 5 games, you've talked about the long road trip here. They're either getting blown out or they're scoring a handful of goals here. And so we're trying to sneak in the back door here, guys. They're favored, as you said, -168 right now at Circa. With a 6.5, we took them over 3.5. Now, if you don't watch the first period and they're down 2-0, you might as well not watch the second or third period, because they've been going on losing 5-1, 6-1. So we'll know early in this first period, but I think they get to 4 or better, and I can get plus money on that versus -168 and trying to steal a win on the road.
All right, we got Seattle, Edmonton. Connor McDavid returns. We were talking earlier about how McDavid, this afternoon, first of all, you can't bet on 1 point. You can't bet on 2 points almost now. It's -130. Everything betting Connor McDavid to get a couple points, maybe a goal. Edmonton's over 3-1. How are we going to attack this one, Jeff?
Well, I look, first period over was -150. A little too rich for my blood here. It is a 6.5. They're -290. So I'm not going to play first period over. I'm not going to play regulation. I'm not going to lay the $3. How do we get cute here? First period puck line -0.5 goal +110. They're saying there's probably going to be 2 goals here. I'm hoping it's 2-0 Oilers. If it's 1-1, we turn the page and we root for your Penguins, Dave. But I like the Oilers first period here, -0.5 goal +110.
All right, that's a Monday, and it's the Monday after the Super Bowl, Jeffrey. And last time I saw you at a Super Bowl, it was here in Las Vegas. Super Bowl's in New Orleans. It's the same matchup, though, as it was 2 years ago down in Arizona. First impression for you when you got, Kansas City won again, and it's going to be them and the Eagles. What'd you think? Side, total, anything like first thought? Here we go again, or I like this side, I like this total. Where you at with the game right now?
Well, Dave, I thought of you. We've been very successful the last couple of years on the pre-flop when the tournament starts, when the brackets come out, and the exactors and the Super Bowl MVPs. So we're sitting here with the Chiefs to beat the Eagles at +700. Or the Eagles to beat the Chiefs at +1100. Okay,
Perfect.
But now
even better.
The FanDuel MVPs before the tournament started, once the brackets came up, Patrick Mahomes MVP +450. Now these two are going to knock your socks off. Jalen Hurts MVP plus 1,500, and the cherry on top, Saquon Barkley plus 2,100. And that's when the brackets came out on FanDuel.
So you're rooting for the Eagles.
Technically, yes. First flop, I had 1.5 and 48.5. I've seen some 1.5s, 49. I think Westgate put up a 50. The three-peat history, I think it's going to be a great game. I go back to 2 years ago. Jalen Hurts had an amazing first half. They were up 10, and Kansas City just finds a way. And I think the same script, I'm going to look for a Philly first half, Chiefs to win the game. I think that same script could come into play. Good half by Philly, and then Chiefs just find a way. So good game, 27-24 Chiefs, somewhere around there. That's what I got.
Let's hope the officials don't have any kind of major role in that, as we've seen happen.
You are an official.
In a couple of Kansas City Chief games. So, yes, I know. They should all have the integrity of yours truly. Jeff, great job. Check out all his plays, all his picks. He's got a bunch of them at EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Some good ones, too.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Thanks again, Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Sitting on a couple of winners for sure. Very nice job by Jeff with the NFL stuff starting the postseason. So, a couple of hockey notes here. Got 3 games in progress, Dave. Sitting on under 5.5. You can still get it, although it's juiced to minus 235. It wasn't before the break, but Devils trail Philadelphia 3-1. Devils slumping. Red Wings leading Detroit 4-2. This goofy Detroit team is playing some good hockey, beating a pretty good LA Kings team, and then you got Vancouver 4-1 now over St. Louis. Any thoughts on those 3 games?
Like Detroit, almost came on with the Red Wings jersey, but I wore it last week, so I don't want to be redundant. But I think what we'll do now, at least until they go to the All-Star break or that international series thing, whatever the NHL's doing, it's like we'll really kind of focus on a couple different teams, and the Red Wings are one of them for me. I really like the way they're playing. Surprising tonight with the Blues and the Vancouver. Vancouver has been just bad. So them winning, what do we got? 3 minutes left in the second period. So they're up 4-1. So I thought St. Louis would play better. The game to go over, so we're headed for that.
All right. How about the Devils game? It's 3-1, 7.5 minutes left. And they're still giving you 4.5, which you would suspect minus 290. So my question is why, are they going to give us 4.5? Because you got an empty net situation. I wouldn't think so. So if it's already minus 290 on 5.5 under, with 7.5 minutes left, like how big is that juice going to be? Would they actually flip it? The moment it goes to 4.5, I'm betting the over because you're going to get a 2-minute, empty net situation. So
but you're going to have
I'm a little
to
surprised
lay...
it's already minus 290 with 7.5 minutes left at 5.5.
Yeah. No, it's gonna move. So I have 5.5 minus 220 to the under. The next move is I don't know how much higher the juice will go. It'll go to 4.5, but you'll have about 30 seconds to a minute to bet it. So you got to pay attention. So pay attention to me and the audience and everything what we're saying. But we'll keep an eye on it because it'll go to 4.5 and then it will get turned off.
Right.
I talked to a guy last week about this because of the way they're pulling the goalies. They're having to turn off the total for the betting a little bit sooner. And the books that aren't doing it, you may be able to find advantages to bet. But some guys I know, like, because they asked me because, they know I like the hockey and I play the hockey and all this other stuff. And they're like, we're having to take it off earlier because there's more than one empty netter. They're pulling it early, and then there's more than one. So a dead under game is becoming either an over or an in-game over automatic. So, yeah, you're right. You gotta pay close attention. So it hasn't moved yet because they're on a pause of play, TV timeout. So we'll keep an eye on it. Good eye. I mean, you can't see the ball in the golf on your screen 5 feet from you right now, but you see these things. You can see that. That's pretty impressive.
I could see that, though. Yes. Now, if there was a little dollar sign on the ball, or a little betting sign, then I would absolutely. But it's true.
Yes.
It's funny you said that. It's amazing how the gambling money. I've noticed that the last few shows that we've been doing. It's like man, there's like 2.5, 3 minutes left, and they're pulling the over underline down already, and that's it.
They're doing it after the one guy told me when the next pause of play after the 5-minute mark because teams are pulling the goalie 4 minutes ago. So they're pulling it sooner than they ever really did. Usually it was the timeout between the 4 and the 3-minute mark. Very rarely you see an NHL total still up with 3 minutes to go. I mean, I used to do that myself. I used to take it off because there was no use betting it. The number you had was going to be a loser unless you were using the exact score that it already was. So, yeah, pay attention. Wow, Duke is down. What does that say? Just got an update. Duke is down 11 in the first half.
Yeah.
Might be time to take the Dookie Bukies. They're only laying 5. Minus 5.5. Oh.
Wow. I tell you, this NC State team is in their face. I got the game on. They just they're not that good. 2-6 in ACC play, but obviously it's a rivalry. And Duke is fighting for every single bucket.
Right.
Duke lose? What was that line was 22 and a half, 22, 22 and a half, 21 and a half. And they're losing outright. Wow.
Yeah, you better bet Duke now if you're going to do it, because they're going to close the gap here before the half and then probably come out at halftime. So I think 5.5 is a good bet. Anytime you get Duke 5.5, 21-point favorite, that's a good bet.
With a whole half left.
Yeah.
Lakers by 6 over the Hornets. Right there, right on the number. 24 seconds left.
Right
Lady
on the
Luck
number.
Laying 5.5. Oof.
Yeah. It's not going to go over the total. That's so they're not going to go over the 220. No, 222.5. So that's no good. But Warder Charlotte stuff. It'd be fun if they cover. I'll remind Walsh of that tomorrow. Rockets and the Celtics in a monster battle right now. 86-85. 30 seconds left in the third quarter. That's a good basketball game. What's not a good basketball game is the Grizzlies. 84. The Knicks 102 after 3. The Knicks were only laying 3.5. So that one, if you're on the Knicks, looks safe. Yeah.
102 points after 3 quarters. I mean, it's just like, and surprisingly enough, the over-under is only I say that, 244.5. Look at Dallas and Washington.
What's that? What's that number? Well, no, I was going to say the Nuggets and the Bulls, 74-72, just under 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. The in-game number is literally the opening number, 248.5.
Right.
Right on pace.
Wow.
Yeah. Odds makers love that. They pat themselves on the back when they get it that right. That's good.
Dallas 63, Washington 25 with 5.5 minutes left in the second. 25. They're down 30. I do my math there. They're down 38 in the second quarter, midway through.
It's 36.5. How can that be?
Oh, man.
One of the weirdest nicknames I've heard in fighting. There's people have some strange nicknames at times, but the Lemon Killer. What do you even make of that? What is that about?
I don't even know what that means, but I'm gonna squeeze him like a lemon on the day we fight, and he's gonna pop.
Only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
He did nothing for 5 weeks. So he's becoming his brother. So I don't want to hear about how great TJ Watt is with his 0 playoff wins. And he's the first guy to admit it. He comes right out and says, I've never won a playoff game. I don't matter. All right, at least we all know who the best player on the team is. It's George Pickens. If you don't believe that, well, then screw you too.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
We'll see if they get McCain back. Kelly Oubre, Yabusele's been good. Caleb Martin's a defensive specialist. Andre Drummond can still give you, almost a double-double at any point. I can't go south on this team. And now you're giving it to me at 2-1 to make the playoffs? To be in the Final 8? Folks, give me the Philadelphia 76ers to make the playoffs at plus 210.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave checking out all the action, including a little NBA, little hockey, little college basketball. I will start with this. Our good buddy on Twitter, CBW, Dave, I don't know if you saw this tweet or not. The Wizards, they've lost 13 straight, right? What are they, 6-38 on the season? DraftKings has apparently a bet on when they're going to win their next game. Among the bets you could make is for them to not win another game this year, 300 to 1. I mean, I think they're going to win another game. You know, I do think that, but are they? Yeah, they only got 6 out of 44, so it's not like we're really asking them to do anything crazy to go winless the rest of the way. But yeah, I would think so. You know, can you imagine having that bet, and then like the last 2 weeks, they're playing a bunch of other scrub teams that are all trying to lose, and they end up winning a game. I mean, that would really suck. That really would. But
So
that's funny
6
that
and
they were just
36.
offered.
That's 40. That's 42 games. They play 80.
Right. 44.
They play 82, right? In the NBA.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, 42 games. Yeah. Right.
Okay,
So we got another 40 left.
Right. Wow. I'm trying to think of what's the
44.
lowest.
Yeah, that's right. 44 games they played right now, 6-38. So they got 38 more games.
Okay. I don't know if they win 5. I think they end the season in single digits.
I'm trying to 1-12 on the road. So we could automatically assume they're going to lose every single road game. Now we just have to look at the home game schedule.
Right. Okay.
Let's fast forward all the way to the end when they're playing teams that are also trying to tank for Cooper Flag, right? They finish up with at Miami, at Chicago, Philadelphia, which may or may not need that game, depending on their attitude, Boston, Indiana. So their last 5 games, at Boston, at Indiana, those 2 teams could rest their starters and still beat Washington. Philadelphia at home. And then at Chicago, at Miami.
Yeah, I would have to think they don't win a game in April. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. We used to have guys come in and bet these crazy parlays, and they would take the big favorites against those teams. I feel like there was always a game or two where like a dog like that would win. In a game, they're 12-point dogs to whomever at the end of the season, a team that's not really playing anybody either, but they're supposed to win, and the other team's tanking. I guess everybody's going to try to get Cooper Flag, right? That's the guy that sets us number 1. Or it's hard to argue against it, but man, I don't know. It can't be fun going to work. I said that during a break. Like, just let's go and lose. Here we go. Nobody's trying to help. Nobody's trying to get better. I mean, you're playing and you're a professional, but that stinks. That's no good.
Yeah. I think the NBA needs to expand it to the top 5. So the top 5 or the
Charlotte.
Oh, did he hit it?
112, 107.
107. Wow.
On the number.
Covered by the hook.
Right there.
Wow.
How about that?
That's a tough one. And you were saying in the break that our boy AD had 3 free throws because he got fouled at a 3-pointer. What did he do? Miss 2 out of 3?
He fouled. No, he fouled the shooter up 6. They were up 6, and he fouled. So they got it within 3.
Wow.
And then he ends the game with 42 points, 23 boards. He's 17 to 28. So those are both season highs for him. So he had a monster night. He did it half of that in the first quarter. But he caused the foul that ended up allowing the Hornets to cover. So I don't get to break this thing out very often. This is good. I'm glad I wore it tonight when they covered. I'm pretty excited. That's pretty nice.
But not bad.
What's Duke doing? What's Duke doing? I haven't looked. What's Duke doing? Are they winning yet?
I think they reached halftime. Down 4 at the half. 37-33. That's not too
bad. -9.5 now. -9.5.
Yeah.
So hopefully you played it -5.5. I think you'll be good. They come out in the second half and blow them out. What are the stats for that? That's good.
70-point first half. Others still in play, but That over-under started at 136.5. I saw it before tip-off down to 133.5.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people betting the under. And yeah, I will say, like, these guys are shooting. They're playing great defense. They're just hitting, like, crazy shots. So the under is still very much in play in this game. All right, more coming up in Game Live Game Day.
One of the weirdest nicknames I've heard in fighting. You know, there's people have some strange nicknames at times, but the Lemon Killer. What do you even make of that? What is that about?
I don't even know what that means, but I'm gonna squeeze him like a lemon on the day we fight, and he's gonna pop.
Only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
He did nothing for 5 weeks. So he is becoming his brother. So I don't want to hear about how great TJ Watt is with his 0 playoff wins. And he's the first guy to admit it. He comes right out and says, I've never won a playoff game. I don't matter. All right, at least we all know who the best player on the team is. It's George Pickens. If you don't believe that, well, then screw you too.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
We'll see if they get McCain back. Kelly Oubre, Yabusele's been good. Caleb Martin's a defensive specialist. Andre Drummond can still give you, almost a double-double at any point. I can't go south on this team. And now you're giving it to me at 2-1 to make the playoffs? To be in the Final 8? Folks, give me the Philadelphia 76ers to make the playoffs at plus 210.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I tell you, every single time you think you got things rolling in your favor, the boys in Vegas, the sports gods just slap you right across the face.
What happened now?
Final from Philadelphia. Well, let me just go through the play-by-play, shall we? So, under 5.5 is the play. First 10 minutes, first period, no score. Looking real good. 2 goals in 30. Check that. 2 goals in 28 seconds. Makes it 2-0 Philadelphia, but we get out of the first period 2-0 Philadelphia, still alive. 2.5 minutes into the second, it's 2-1. Rip up the ticket, forget about it, right? And 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by, 18 minutes go by. Ooh, we get out of this period 2-1, not bad. We get a goal with a minute left, basically, in the second period. Now it's 3-1 Philadelphia. Rip up the ticket again. 5 minutes go by, third period, no goal. 10 minutes goes by, third period, no goal. Ooh, it's 3-1 with 5 minutes left. We got a goal to give. We can give up the dopey empty netter. 16 minutes go by, no goal. 17 minutes goes by, no goal. 18 minutes, Dave. 18 minutes goes by, no goal. 3-1. I should have doubled the play, right? I'm thinking about betting under 4.5 now. 18:38, a minute 22 left. Timo Meyer never had a big goal in his life. That's why San Jose always lost. Scores a goal for the Devils to make it 3-2.
Okay.
All right. We're still, we're still in the ball game here.
Still in the game, yeah? What happened?
Yeah. Minute goes by. Well, a minute left. 3-2. 45 seconds. 3-2.
Empty netter.
30 seconds. 3-2 still. 20 seconds. 3-2. 19, 18, 17, 16, and
Vinny, give him the
empty
goal horn.
netter.
Give him the goal horn, Vinny.
Two stinking mother you-know-what goals in the final minute 22 and the game goes over. That's happened like 3 times now in these last 3 Devil games. Hate betting others. I just hate betting under. You're never out of it with an over, whether it's hockey, basketball.
This is why you have to do this in game. You have under 5.5, and it gets down to 3.5. Boom, go over. You get the 4 and the 5 working for you both ways. And if you get crazy like that, you're off the bet. You're okay, and you live to fight another day. You don't have the agita, the aggravation. You're bad mouthing Timo Meyer. I mean, the guy did have some big goals in his career. He's still.
I never won squat. That's why they lost all the time. That's why they get rid of him. Who's kidding who?
Oh my!
What kind of name is Timo anyway? By the way, it's Meyer, M-E-Y-E-R, right? No, the Americans don't spell it M-E-I-E. What is that? It's M-E-Y-E-R.
Like Oscar Mayer. Remember the Oscar Mayer wieners?
There you go.
Yeah. Oscar Mayer.
All right. Back to the drawing board. Let's find some more winners.
Man, feel bad.
Yeah. What are we doing NBA? How are my Rockets doing? I hate betting against the Celtics. So I like the Celtics, but play the little system. They're down 7. All right. They're hanging around 101.94. 7.5
hovering
left.
Around the number. Yeah, hovering around the number.
How about Toronto winning again? 91-81. I know it's New Orleans, but you know the Raptors, to put this into perspective, right? So the Raptors, let me get my numbers here. They're winning 91-81. They are 5-1 their last 6. All right, pretty good run, right? You think, okay, no big deal. What's the problem? It's taken them 6 games to win 5, but before this streak, it took them 61 games to win 10. That kind of puts into perspective how bad Toronto has been. They were 10 and 50. It's 60 games. 10 and 50 they were before this streak of going 5-1, and now maybe 6-1.
Yikes!
How do you explain that?
Really can't.
Right? I mean,
you really can't.
We're talking about 2 seasons worth.
I got to ask you: did you see what the Hornets, not the Hornets, the Nets have been doing? And tonight they're playing the Sacramento. I call them the Kings. You like to call them the Queens. But the Nets were leading at halftime. They're not leading anymore. Oh, here come the Nets, as I said. I don't even want to jinx it then. All right, I won't even say nothing because I thought it was time to bet the Kings when they were down like 10.
Right.
And now it's down back to 1. The Kings are going to win that game. I'll just say I'll say that right now too. The Kings are going to win that game. The Nets are on a mission to lose as well, and they keep blowing games. They're in games, and then they're not. Walsh has a bet on their season win over. Since he told me about it, they haven't won a game. They haven't won a game. They were cruising, and then they haven't won a game since. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Good game going on with the Nuggets and the Bulls. 96-95. Third quarter's almost done. The in-game total's 252.5. All right, that will make it over the total.
Every once in a while, the Bulls show up.
Did you look at all at the Clippers and the Suns game tonight?
I did.
That's a good basketball game later.
You know, I tell you, this Clipper team, if you want to look for a club that's just kind of like, no one's paying attention to, that maybe would upset the apple cart in the Eastern Conference, this Clippers team is not bad. I mean, I think it's a case of addition by subtraction with some of these bums that were on the team that didn't want to play. 9-2 against the spread run, last 11. They're 26-19. Not bad. Not great, but that's for a Clipper team that most people thought would be lousy without Paul George and everybody. They're doing well. They take on the Suns. 6-1 over for the series, but I kind of like the under here. Clips, strong under team. You don't have too many in the NBA. Clippers are one of them, 12-6 under their last 18 games. Phoenix, 6-1 under their last 7 at home. I like the Clips in the game. I think the Clippers in the under.
Kind of like the Clippers too. The Suns are 7-3 in their last 10, playing much better. They almost have identical records: 23-21, 26-19 for the Clippers. That'll be a good basketball game. We'll keep an eye on that for your train ride home. Oh no, you're in the beach house tonight. You don't even have to take the train ride. Yeah. Now, will you be awake when this game ends? That's the most important question right now. The game tips at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern.
Early start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll still be, what's that, 9:30, 10:30, 11? Oh, yeah. I'm usually up to like 1:30, sometimes 2. It's not, like I told you, it's nice and peaceful. All the girls are at school, so it's just me, the wife, and the son. But there's a calmness that comes over me. Like, during the day, I do so much, whether it's football full circle, or it's refereeing, the podcast, getting set for in-game live. There's always, like, the brain is always working. The brain shuts down at night. So it's just, I do all the things, all the little dopey things I need to do for the website or the podcast or the pools that I run. There's a calmness at night that I really enjoy. So, I'll be up to 1:30.
Yeah. Calmness. We need calmness. That's good. Well, hopefully you hit the same game parlay. You might need to practice some calmness the way the Bucks started
Jazz
the game
playing.
against the Jazz. Yeah, it's not sitting right around.
Here's the good news, though. Here's the good
Mhm.
news. Bucks play tomorrow at Portland. So I'm thinking even if they are blowing out Utah, they call off the Dogs because they got to play tomorrow. Utah, a little backdoor cover, maybe loses by 7 or 8. So got 2 ways to cover the spread here. So don't worry about the score, folks. Just worry about the over and worry about the Greek Freak who's really not Greek getting his points. And marketing, for that matter. Ted Storms coming up next. He's got some winners for us, for sure. Maybe he can explain where the ball went.
One of the weirdest nicknames I've heard in fighting. There's people have some strange nicknames at times, but the Lemon Killer. What do you even make of that? What is that about?
I don't even know what that means, but I'm gonna squeeze him like a lemon on the day we fight, and he's gonna pop.
Only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
He did nothing for 5 weeks. So he's becoming his brother. So I don't want to hear about how great TJ Watt is with his 0 playoff wins. And he's the first guy to admit it. He comes right out and says, I've never won a playoff game. I don't matter. All right, at least we all know who the best player on the team is. It's George Pickens. If you don't believe that, well, then screw you too.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
We'll see if they get McCain back. Kelly Oubre, Yabusele's been good. Caleb Martin's a defensive specialist. Andre Drummond can still give you, almost a double-double at any point. I can't go south on this team. And now you're giving it to me at 2-1 to make the playoffs? To be in the Final 8? Folks, give me the Philadelphia 76ers to make the playoffs at plus 210.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave welcoming in. Our good buddy takes over at the top of the hour along with Gabe Morency, Mr. Cam Stewart, who's generally an opposite picks type of guy. So I wonder if he has got Connor McDavid 2 points or 1 point or a goal tonight like the rest of America does.
No, he's coming back off suspension. No, I'll go the other way. I don't want anything. Sure, he can get 2 points, whatever. I'm not betting it. No, the answer is no. Also,
nothing Seattle, just like that.
As I was just going to tell you, I want the Kraken plus 1.5 and plus 205 money line. I bet them, and I got one further for you tonight, Scott. Let's wait. And if they don't score in the first 5 minutes, we pound the over in SJ Sharkey and Dave's Penguins. Let me tell you a story about SJ Sharkey. They're giving up 7, 5, scoring 2. Sometimes they score 5, 3, whatever. You can make that number 7. I'll still take the damn over, but we'll wait. Original play 6.5 over, and then we'll go during the game. And if we get a 5.5, we're going to hit it. Have you seen the Sharks last 4? Oh my God, this defense and goaltending is deplorable, but they played a different brand of hockey, wide open hockey. Wetzel, that was my dark cloud of the night to ruin everything for everyone. Seattle's the play tonight in hockey. I hope Edmonton scores the next goal, and I'll jump back on Seattle. Love the fact that Connor McDavid's coming back. I learned something as a younger Bear in my younger days. Do the opposite. When a star player comes back or whatever, sometimes the team, they're getting used to playing without him. It might take a couple games to gel. Could he get 3 points? Hell, he could get 5. I'm just telling you, I'm not falling for it tonight. If it happens, it happens. I would actually bet under in Connor McDavid. I think he gets maybe 1 point tonight. He's not getting 2. That's my opinion. It's the black cloud play of the night. If you can see the graphic right there.
I really like Scott too. I don't even have a bet on this, Scott. So I wish you the best. As long as Seattle plus 1.5 and Seattle wins the game, I don't care if Connor McDavid gets every point for the Oilers. But I'm on the dog. Dave, love your Charlotte coat. Had the Hornets tonight in a game. I found, you know what? Another thing, 5.5. Like people are, Lakers free money. Like these guys do this stuff for a reason. Sometimes I overthink things and I get burned, but sometimes I just look at a number and go, I'm taking the weird number or not going with it, because Scott knows I'm really opposite picks and didn't really work in football this weekend, guys, but everything else, hockey and college hoops were amazing. On Saturday, hit everything. And then Sunday rolled around. Dave, I got to tell you, sometimes I don't even know why I wake up for football games. I just I should stay in bed. I had my little top 10s in my European golf. I'm just sitting there. The account's getting bigger. Why do we bet football like the world's ending tomorrow? In other sports, I'm like rational and smart. 100 here, 50 here. Do this. Yep. $25, $30 parlays. Football, 200. Oh, look at these props. Yep. I'm like Fred Flintstone. Bet. I can't stop. I can't stop. I'm like Fred Flintstone at the bowling alley. I just look at everything. The only things that went well, guys, were the tight ends with Goddard and Ertz. Tight ends are really important, but the tight ends in Buffalo didn't do a very good job. I got to tell you, watching Kansas City and Philadelphia in the Super Bowl is nauseating. I feel sorry for Morency. He's got to go there and talk about this for 2 weeks as a Bills fan. But hey, what are you going to do? You can't beat the Chiefs. That's life. I've already made a bet on the Eagles, Dave. I already got 7 or 8 Super Bowl bets right now. I think that line's going to flip the other way. I love Jalen Carter. I love this team. I'm getting 1.5. We'll wait for the total to go up, and then I'll hit the under on a teaser. But I'm already on Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown even. With the tush push, I think he's going to get there for 1 prop, and I think Philadelphia wins the game. I'll take 1.5 in that spot, waiting on a better number for the over. So already made a couple prop bets. And Dallas Goddard anytime touchdown plus 380.
This is great. We'll learn and keep compiling bets in the menu all week. We got the order of business tonight, though, is we asked JY, we asked JD. They were on big college basketball game tonight.
Oh, yes.
Iowa State at Arizona. JY liked Iowa State. JD liked Arizona. Where are you at with this game?
When I see an unranked team favored against a ranked team, it makes me want to take Arizona. The problem is, even though Love's a great player, he's a little bit inconsistent. Iowa State's really good. Dave, I haven't bet this game yet. It's at 10:30, and I'm going to get Morency's opinion on it too when we do the late night show at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. But I have a lean to Iowa State right now, and I usually don't go that way. Out of like my one rule is if a team that's unranked favorite, they're at home laying 2.5, I'd probably go that way. But Iowa State's a different beast. I think they could play with Arizona. So I don't know how you guys feel. But how do you feel about it, Dave? I was actually doing more NBA. By the way, Scott, the Raptors, don't want to jinx it again. They're coming outright and covering again.
We talked about that. Amazing.
They actually got a 4-game win streak. What is happening here? Down goes the tank job. I know.
This team was 10-51, Cam. 10-51 their last 61 games, and now all of a sudden they're going to be 6-1 their last 7. What are they doing?
I don't know what they're doing. All I know is fans leave the arena. Hey, we lost. Who cares? But now we're winning. We do care. But we're covering numbers and paying for expensive tickets and parking in downtown Toronto, even though nobody's going to the games as much anymore. Go to a Leaf game. Friggin', it's like literally, Dave, it's a mortgage payment for me to go to see the Leafs. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Yeah. It's more after beers. After beers and parking, like it's a smooth, easy $700-800, and that's for a regular night. Like that's just a regular game. It's a joke. But the Arizona, what do you guys feel about this game? Total a little bit light at 152.5, or do you think we're going to get some defense?
I think it's an over game myself.
I agree,
and I like Arizona, but JY made a case for Iowa State that made a lot of sense, talking about how well they've played as a team. Like they don't rely on one guy. They have 6 guys, he said, averaging like close to 10 points a game. So when one guy's not going, someone else will, and that's what's allowed them. They've been in Arizona.
I have another question for you, Dave. Sorry, I see Pittsburgh like minus 165. What are you thinking? Is that another one?
Penguins?
Sharks plus a goal and a half.
Yes, Dave.
But I like the over. But the Sharks, we're taking the
Sharks. Right. Sharks plus 1.5. Money line over. Dave, that Charlotte jacket looks on. You are on fire, bro. And the fact they covered by the hook, I like it even more. Love you guys.
Cam Stewart, top of the hour with Gabe Morency here on the Grid. Thanks.
Good job.
One of the weirdest nicknames I've heard in fighting. You know, there's people have some strange nicknames at times, but the Lemon Killer. What do you even make of that? What is that about?
I don't even know what that means, but I'm gonna squeeze him like a lemon on the day we fight, and he's on pop.
Only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
He did nothing for 5 weeks. So he is becoming his brother. So I don't want to hear about how great TJ Watt is with his 0 playoff wins. And he's the first guy to admit it. He comes right out and says, I've never won a playoff game. I don't matter. All right, at least we all know who the best player on the team is. It's George Pickens. If you don't believe that, well, then screw you too.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
We'll see if they get McCain back. Kelly Oubre, Yabusele's been good. Caleb Martin's a defensive specialist. Andre Drummond can still give you, almost a double-double at any point. I can't go south on this team. And now you're giving it to me at 2-1 to make the playoffs? To be in the Final 8? Folks, give me the Philadelphia 76ers to make the playoffs at plus 210.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on a Monday. Wrapping up shop here. One last check of the board before we hand it off to Cam and Gabe, top of the hour. Seattle did score, as we were telling Cam, 1-0. A little controversial goal. They challenged it, but it wasn't really goalie interference. He got shoved into the guy. So 1-0 Seattle. The mind of the beauty of betting hockey, Dave. 3:10 a moment ago. 1-0. Opening 4 minutes of the first period, and it's down to minus 128. Almost pick them from laying over 3-1. It's amazing. So
yeah,
I already got Edmonton, but I would be all in on Edmonton now. And if they just lose, they lose. At least you're not losing 3-1.
I'm focused on one thing for the rest of the night. Duke was losing.
Dookie Pukies.
We came on here, Dookie Pukies. Yeah, they're up 41-37. We kind of gave out the in-game live game day Wetzel Sharapan release. What do we call it? The C and W? No, the S and W Corporation.
S&W Corporation. Yeah.
The S&W Corporation play. Yeah. It was pretty strong. It was Duke minus 5.5. If you hit refresh on your app right now, it's Duke minus 14.5. So that wasn't that long ago. I mean, it pays to kind of watch. I mean, that's the thing everybody says, on SportsGrid. It pays to watch SportsGrid sometimes. That does. So good luck, Duke. Good luck, NC State. Might be a long night for the rest of you. I got to ask you, though. It's always the last segment. We get a little bit of time to talk. Did you know about the NFL and the palpably unfair act that occurred in Philadelphia when Hockey Lee explained that that guy was jumping over the line and he kept jumping over the line to stop the tush push? He said Washington has been advised to stop doing that. And then he said it's how it's defined in the book. I've been watching football my whole life. I'm 54. I never heard of a palpably unfair act. Have you, Mr. Official?
No, I haven't. I really, it's amazing. I did not know that. And it's a great strategy, and it's one of those loopholes that I'm sure this offseason, I guarantee you they will close. Because I've always said that, though, without knowing that they could actually award a touchdown. I've always said, why do you just keep on jumping off sides? I mean, you could jump off sides 10 times, and it's a good way to kill the clock. And it's just, the only danger is you're just moving it another half inch closer. And it's great strategy from the defensive side of it because, and this is another dopey rule. I don't know what they could do to change this, but the fact that you could jump off sides 8 times and move the ball 8 inches, literally, and the offense jumps off sides 1 time, and then you move the ball back, 5 yards is stupid. So they have to close that somehow. Maybe for every time the defense jumps off sides, the offense can also, without being really penalized. But otherwise, it's great strategy for Washington. Right?
Hold on, Mr. Official. We don't need more flags. We don't need more anything. At some point, just let him hit the quarterback, do something. I don't know what, but I don't want. It can't have more flags. Offense jumps off, so that means the defense can jump off. I don't want any of that. The other thing that I saw, Mr. Official, that I couldn't wait to ask you about, was at the 2-minute warning in Kansas City. The clock was coming down, and they called it blended time. There's something called blended time because it was 1 second or so off, and they allowed the play clock to run out, and then all mysteriously, instead of 2:01 on the clock, it was the 2-minute warning. There was no penalty for delay a game. They called it blended time. Another thing that I never heard of in 54 years on planet Earth. You ever hear of blended time?
No, I saw, I was doing in-game live at the time, so it's hard to kind of watch it, that intently. But I saw someone tweet that out, like, how come the 2-minute warning is down to 158 or something? I wasn't sure what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Happened.
Here's the other one. Here's the other one that I saw. Now, again, on TV, sometimes TV can be a little deceiving, but I swore Kansas City ran a play. There was a pass. Remember the jump ball that they gave to Kansas City in the fourth quarter? I think it was.
Yeah.
So they gave it to Kansas City. Kansas City runs a play on first down, and then Buffalo challenged the catch. after a play had been run, seemingly.
Never seen that before either. There was those three things I never saw before. Well,
yeah,
we'll figure out to discuss it more in the Super Bowl the rest of the week. But great show. You, Vinny, Matty G, everybody.
All right, boys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.